Listen, I want to tell you something that might surprise you. The people who lived through the Great Depression, our parents, our grandparents, they knew something about money that we've completely forgotten today. And if you apply even half of what they knew, you could save thousands of dollars every single year without feeling deprived or miserable. I'm talking about real, practical wisdom that got families through the toughest economic times in American history. And these lessons are just as valuable today, maybe even more valuable, because a lot of us are struggling with inflation, high prices, and trying to make our Social Security checks and retirement savings stretch further than ever before. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go live in a shack and grow all your own food. These are practical, realistic tips that you can actually use in your daily life right now. And I promise you, by the time we're done here, you're going to have at least a few ideas that will put real money back in your pocket. So, let's get right into it. The first lesson from the Great Depression is to use everything up completely before buying new. During the Depression, people couldn't afford to waste anything, and I mean anything. They used every bit of food, every scrap of fabric, every drop of soap. Today, we throw things away when they're still half full or barely used. Think about your own home right now. How many bottles of shampoo or lotion do you have with a little bit left in the bottom that you've replaced with a new bottle? How much food is in your refrigerator or pantry that you're probably going to end up throwing away because you bought something new before using up what you had? This is costing you serious money. Here's what you do. Before you buy anything new, make it a rule that you have to completely use up what you already have. Cut open that toothpaste tube when you think it's empty, and you'll find another week's worth in there. Mix a little water into that shampoo bottle to get every last bit out. Use up all the food in your refrigerator before you go grocery shopping. I'm telling you, if you do this consistently, most people will find they can go an extra week or two between grocery trips. And that's easily $100 or more saved per month, over $1,000 a year, just by using what you already paid for instead of letting it go to waste. The second lesson is to repair instead of replace. During the Depression, if something broke, you fixed it because buying new wasn't an option. Today, we live in a throwaway culture where if something breaks, we immediately think about buying a replacement. But most things can be repaired for a fraction of the cost of buying new. That shirt with a missing button or a small tear, you can fix that in 5 minutes instead of buying a new shirt. Those shoes with worn-out soles, a cobbler can resole them for maybe $30 or $40 instead of you spending $150 on new shoes. That appliance that's not working right, often it's a simple fix that you can do yourself with a YouTube video, or a repair person can fix it for much less than buying new. I know some of you are thinking, but I don't know how to repair things. Well, neither did most people until they learned. You can learn too. There are videos online that show you how to fix almost anything. Libraries have books on basic repairs, or ask someone you know who's handy if they can show you. The point is, before you throw something away and buy new, at least explore if it can be repaired. Even if you have to pay someone to repair it, it's usually cheaper than buying new, and you're also keeping that item out of a landfill, which is good for everyone. The third lesson is to cook from scratch. People during the Depression couldn't afford processed foods or convenience foods or eating out at restaurants. They made everything from scratch using basic, inexpensive ingredients. A bag of flour, some yeast, and you can make bread for a fraction of what store-bought bread costs. Dried beans, rice, vegetables from the store or your garden, and you can make meals that cost dollars instead of the $15 or $20 you'd spend on takeout or frozen dinners. I know cooking from scratch takes more time, and I know a lot of us weren't taught how to cook like our grandparents were. But this is one of the single biggest ways you can save money on a daily basis. The average American household spends hundreds of dollars a month on food, and a huge chunk of that is on convenience foods, processed foods, and eating out. If you can shift even half of that to home-cooked meals from basic ingredients, you could easily save $200, $300, even $500 a month, depending on your current habits. That's thousands of dollars a year. And home-cooked food is healthier too, which means you save money on healthcare costs down the road. You don't have to be a fancy chef. Simple meals, basic recipes, that's all you need. Soups, stews, casseroles, roasted chicken. These are Depression-era staples that are cheap, filling, and nutritious. The fourth lesson is to preserve and store food when it's cheap. During the Depression, people would buy food when it was in season and cheap, and then they'd can it, preserve it, dry it, or store it to use throughout the year. Today, we can do the same thing. When you see a great sale on something you use regularly, buy extra and store it if it's non-perishable, or freeze it if it's perishable. If chicken is on sale, buy several packages and freeze them. If canned goods are buy one get one free, stock up. If fresh vegetables are cheap because they're in season, buy extra and freeze them or can them if you know how. This strategy does two things. First, it means you're always buying food at the lowest prices instead of paying full price whenever you happen to need something. Second, it means you have a stockpile of food at home, which gives you security and means you can skip grocery shopping trips when money is tight. Now, I'm not saying to go crazy and become one of those extreme couponers with a garage full of cereal. I'm talking about being strategic. Keep a month or two worth of staple foods on hand and rotate through them so nothing goes bad. This alone can save you 20 to 30% on your grocery bills. The fifth lesson is to make do with what you have instead of buying something new for every situation. Depression-era people were incredibly creative about finding multiple uses for things they already owned. A glass jar wasn't just a container for jam. It could be a drinking glass, a vase, a storage container, a candle holder. An old shirt that couldn't be worn anymore became cleaning rags or was cut up for quilt pieces. Today, we have this mindset that we need specific items for specific purposes, and companies are happy to sell us those items. But the truth is, you can use what you already have for most things. You don't need special cleaning products for every surface in your house. Vinegar and baking soda clean almost everything. You don't need a different outfit for every occasion. You can mix and match what you have. You don't need the latest gadget or tool when something you already own can do the job. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, do I really need this? Or can I use something I already have? 9 times out of 10, you already have something that will work. This mindset shift alone will save you from hundreds of impulse purchases throughout the year. The sixth lesson is to reduce energy usage to the bare minimum. During the Depression, electricity was expensive, and people used it sparingly. They turned off lights when leaving a room. They didn't heat or cool their entire house. They hung clothes to dry instead of using a dryer. They didn't leave appliances running unnecessarily. Today, our energy bills are significant expenses, often $150 or more per month. And most of us are wasting a lot of energy without even thinking about it. Turn off lights. Unplug devices you're not using because they draw power even when off. Use fans instead of air conditioning when possible. Add an extra blanket instead of turning up the heat. Hang clothes to dry at least some of the time. Take shorter showers. Run full loads in your washer and dishwasher instead of partial loads. These small changes add up to real savings on your utility bills. If you can cut your energy usage by even 20%, that's $30 or more per month, over $350 per year. And it's not just about the money, you're also reducing your environmental impact, which is important for future generations. The seventh lesson is to barter and trade instead of always using money. During the Depression, people would trade goods and services with neighbors and friends. If you were good at sewing, you'd mend someone's clothes in exchange for them helping you fix your fence. If you had extra vegetables from your garden, you'd trade them for eggs from someone who kept chickens. Today, we can still do this. If you're good at something, offer to trade that skill for something you need. Maybe you're good with computers, and your neighbor needs help with their phone. And they're good at car maintenance and can help you change your oil. Maybe you have tools someone needs to borrow, and they have a ladder you need. This doesn't have to be formal or complicated. It's just about helping each other out and reducing the amount of money everyone needs to spend. You can also participate in community swap events where people bring items they don't need anymore and trade them for things they do need. This keeps stuff out of landfills and keeps money in your pocket. The eighth lesson is to buy quality items that last, instead of cheap items you'll have to replace. This might seem counterintuitive for frugal living because quality items cost more upfront, but Depression-era folks understood that buying something good that would last for years was more economical than buying something cheap that would break quickly and need to be replaced. If you need a new coat, buying a well-made coat for $150 that will last you 10 years is much more economical than buying a cheap coat for $50 that you have to replace every year or two. Same goes for shoes, tools, appliances, furniture, and many other items. Now, this doesn't mean you have to buy everything brand new or at full price. You can find quality items at thrift stores, estate sales, or online marketplaces for a fraction of what they cost new. But the principle remains: look for quality and durability, not just the lowest price. This requires patience and planning because you might need to save up for the better item or wait until you find a good deal, but it saves money in the long run. The ninth lesson is to entertain yourself for free or cheap. During the Depression, people couldn't afford to spend money on entertainment, so they found free ways to enjoy themselves. They played cards, read books from the library, listened to the radio, went for walks, had neighbors over for conversation, played music, did crafts with materials they had. Today, we spend enormous amounts of money on entertainment, streaming services, going to movies, expensive hobbies, eating out for fun. And yes, entertainment is important. We all need to enjoy life, but there are so many ways to be entertained that don't cost money. Go to the library and check out books, movies, and music for free. Take walks in your neighborhood or local parks. Have friends over for coffee and conversation instead of meeting at expensive restaurants. Play board games or card games you already own. Do puzzles. Garden. The point is, entertainment doesn't have to cost money. And if you can replace even half of your paid entertainment with free entertainment, you'll save hundreds of dollars per year without feeling deprived because you're still doing enjoyable activities. The 10th lesson is to be content with less and stop comparing yourself to others. This is maybe the most important lesson of all. During the Depression, people had to let go of any pretense of keeping up with the Joneses because everyone was struggling and there was no shame in having less. Today, we were bombarded with advertising and social media showing us what other people have. And it creates this constant feeling that we need more. We need to upgrade. We need the latest thing. But the truth is, having more stuff doesn't make you happier. And trying to keep up with what others have is a guaranteed way to waste money and stay stressed. Your worth as a person has nothing to do with what you own or what you can afford. You don't need a bigger house, a newer car, the latest phone, designer clothes, or expensive vacations to be happy or to be respected. The Depression generation understood that what matters is having enough for your needs, having security, having relationships with people you care about, and having peace of mind. If you can shift your mindset away from always wanting more and toward being grateful for what you have, you'll naturally spend less money because you won't feel that constant pull to buy things. So there you have it, 10 lessons from the Great Depression that can save you thousands of dollars. Use everything completely. Repair instead of replace. Cook from scratch. Preserve food when it's cheap. Make do with what you have. Reduce energy usage. Barter and trade. Buy quality that lasts. Entertain yourself cheaply. And be content with less. You don't have to implement all of these at once. Pick 2 or 3 that resonate with you and start there. Even making a few of these changes will put real money back in your pocket, and that money can go toward paying off debt, building your savings, or just giving you breathing room in your budget. The people who lived through the Depression were incredibly resilient and resourceful, and we can learn so much from them about living well with less.